founder and first emperor of the Song Dynasty 960–976, who reunified most of China by conquering the states of Southern Tang, later Shu, Southern Han and Jingnan, dies at 49. In 1226, Frederick of Isenberg, German politician, executed b. 1193. Prince of Novgorod and Grand Prince of Vladimir, considered the key figure in medieval Ruse 1252–63, dies at 43. In 1359, Gregorius Palamas, Byzantine mystic, archbishop, and saint, dies at about 61. In 1391, Nikola Tavelić, first Croatian saint, b. 1340. In 1522, Anne of France, French princess, daughter of King Louis Roman XI and regent of France 1483–91 for her brother King Charles Roman VIII during his minority, dies at 61. In 1556, Giovanni Della Casa, Italian poet Galateo, dies at 53. In 1589, Philipp Apianus Bienewitz, German mathematician and geographer, dies at 58. In 1625, Giulio C Procaccini, Italian sculptor painter, dies. In 1633, William Ames, English philosopher, b. 1576. In 1673, Michael Wisniowieki, King of Poland, dies. In 1687, Eleanor Nell Gwyn, English mistress of King Charles Roman II of England, dies from apoplexy at 37. In 1691, Tosa Mitsuoki, Japanese painter, b. 1617. In 1692, Christoph Bernhard, German Baroque composer, dies at 64. In 1734, Louise de Querouaille, Duchess of Portsmouth, French mistress of British King Charles Roman II, dies at 85. In 1746, Georg Steller, German naturalist and explorer, Great Northern Expedition, dies from fever at 37. In 1780, Jacobus Houbraken, Dutch engraver and illustrator, dies at 81. In 1794, Pieter Nieuwland, Dutch scientist and mathematician known as Dutch Isaac Newton, dies at 30. In 1797, Ivan Shuvalov, first Russian Minister of Education and founder of the Moscow University, dies at 70. In 1804, Archdeacon, Dutch novelist Sarah Burgerhardt, dies at 62. In 1817, Policarpo Salvarieter, Colombian revolutionary, b. 1795. In 1825, Jean-Paul, writer, dies at 62. In 1829, Louis Nicolas Vauquelin, French chemist and pharmacist, discovered chromium, beryllium, dies at 66. In 1831, Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, German philosopher and inventor dialectic, dies at 61. In 1831, Ignaz Joseph Pleyel, Austrian-French composer and piano builder, dies at 74. In 1832, Charles Carroll, wealthy Maryland planter who was the last signer of the Declaration of Independence to pass away, dies at 95. In 1832, Rasmus Rask, Danish linguist and philologist, investigation of the origin of the Old Norse or Icelandic language, dies of tuberculosis at 44. In 1841, Thomas Bruce, 7th Earl of Elgin Kincardine, British diplomat, dies at 75. In 1842, Henry de Kock, Dutch Reformed vicar and secession leader, dies at 41. In 1844, Flora Tristan, French writer and social activist, dies at 41. In 1844, John Abercrombie, Scottish physician, dies at 64. In 1860, Felix Ostrowski, Polish pianist and composer, dies at 58. In 1864, Franz M. Liller, German tailor and the first UK train murderer, publicly executed at 24. King of Portugal 1828–34, dies at 64. In 1902, Paulus T. van der Meissen de Sombref, foreign minister, dies. In 1906, Hendrik Jan Schimmel, Dutch writer and dramatist, 2 Tudors, dies at 83. In 1907, Andrew Inglis Clark, Australian politician, co-author of the Australian Constitution, dies at 5. In 1907, Moncure Daniel Conway, American minister, abolitionist and writer. Life of Thomas Paine, dies at 75. In 1908, Guangxu, Chinese emperor of the Qing Dynasty 1875–1908, dies of arsenic poisoning at 37. In 1909, Joshua Slocum, Canadian-American seaman and adventurer, first man to sail around the world alone, departs from Vineyard Haven, Massachusetts, sailing south for the winter, and is lost at sea at 65. In 1910, John Lafarge, American painter, stained glass, dies at 75. In 1914, Frederick Roberts Bobbs, British military commander and governor of NATO's Second Afghan War, Boer War, dies at 82. In 1914, Vengail Kanharaman Nayanar, Malayalam journalist, b. 1861. In 1915, Theodore Leschetizky, Polish pianist, composer, and teacher constitutionist, dies at 85. In 1916, Henry George Jr., American politician, b. 1862. In 1916, Saki Hector Hugo Munro, British writer. Reginald, when William came, killed in battle during WWIR at 45. In 1917, William Smith, British deserter in France, executed at 20. In 1918, Robert Anderson Van Wyck, American first mayor of New York City, dies at 69. In 1921, Isabel, Princess Imperial of Brazil, while serving as regent, signed law abolishing slavery, dies in exile at 75. In 1922, Carl Michael Zira, Austrian composer, dies at 79. In 1922, Rudolf K. Jelen, Swedish political scientist and politician who first coined the term geopolitics, dies at 58. In 1925, Agnes Zimmermann, German composer, dies at 78. In 1929, Joe Maginity, American Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher, World Series 1905, 5 NL wins leader, NL ERA leader 1904, Baltimore Orioles, NY Giants, dies at 58. In 1935, Jacobus Wouters van Dieren, Dutch biologist specializing in study of dune formation, particularly on West Frisian island of Terschelling, dies of kidney failure at 33. In 1937, Jack O'Connor, American baseball catcher, Cleveland Spiders, St. Louis Browns and manager, St. Louis Browns, dies at 71. In 1939, Blue Eye, Australian cattle dog and world's oldest reliably recorded dog, dies at 29 years and 5 days. 1. In 1944, Karl Flesch, Hungarian violinist, dies at 71. In 1946, Herman Derman Salman Herman Hamburger, Dutch writer, The Rising Waters, dies in an airplane crash at 48. In 1946, Manuel de Fowler, Spanish pianist and composer, Atul N. Teeter, dies of cardiac arrest at 69. In 1947, Joseph Allard, French-Canadian fiddler and composer, dies at 74. In 1949, Matsudaira Tsuneo, Japanese diplomat, dies at 72. In 1955, Robert E. Sherwood, American dramatist, Abe Lincoln in Illinois, Idiot S. Delight, dies of a heart